Do you want to start with like a quick intro into who you are and kind of what you do?
Yeah. So I'm not even a Masari analyst. I'm on our data team. So I lead our on-chain data team, like the engineering behind that. So when you like read our research and you see data and charts and stuff like that, we kind of play a role in that. I do a lot of like some of our AI stuff as well, but I just fucking love crypto. Like I've been basically degen trading pretty aggressively since the start of last cycle. And so I'll like do my hand at like research or thought pieces, just post my own thoughts. And I just love crypto and being in the trenches and trying it all out.
I thought it was funny when we were going through, like I was going through your account leading up to this, like kind of like just skimming it, and you're, you're like a complete degen, and we were just like laughing because like a lot of the fun guys like aren't allowed to do say that much or like do that much. You just fire on Twitter. It's awesome.
Dude, that's the best part of not having like an actual fund or a book is I don't need to like talk anybody else's bag or anything like that, or I don't need to have like a fund perspective. Like it's just what I think is funny or smart or whatever.
It's awesome. You do a great job. All right. There's a couple things I want to talk to you about. The obvious first one is Aster, which we'll talk about in a second. I just got off. Okay, I'm a complete. I'm basically like strictly on chain. Like I made most of my money soul on chain, trading a lot of memes, trading a lot of AI, trading a lot of bullshit. I hit the pump trade recently, which I started feeling really good about myself for. But I basically have completely neglected perps in the entirety of the existence of ThreadGuy. And so we just did a stream. I just tried Drift. I just tried Avantis. I just tried Aster, and I just tried Lighter, which was fun. And I'm trying to like get more well adept at some of my blind spots. And I mean, I'll just be honest with you, dude. I completely faded Aster the whole way. I faded the whole way, and I'm still sidelined, and I am struggling with it. But I figured, you know what? If I can't make money off it, I might as well get some content out of it. So I have to talk about it. I don't know. Break down like your trade and sort of your thesis, because I feel like you were one of the earlier posters on Aster.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thesis is like pretty simple. It's CZ's perp DEX,
Yeah.
right? Like it had come across my radar like a couple times, like specifically a couple Masari analysts has actually flagged it in some of our internal alpha channels, like before it switched to Aster, and it was I didn't even know the name before, and I was like, okay, like random perp DEX, everybody's on hyperliquid, whatever,
Yep.
right? And then I think like the second it started to pop off on Twitter, right? I was just at like high conviction very early, right? Like I don't think you need to come to like every single trade or be like the first one in the book, right? But like as soon as you see something start to pick on Twitter, right? Like it's just your job as a trader. Like how quickly can I build conviction in this or not, right? And as soon as you have that conviction, just ape size, right? So like as soon as it started to pick up a little bit, I was like loading in clips and spot and just kind of riding that. I think like around the 80 something mark, I was like, all right, like let me take some profits here, see how we're feeling. It ran down, like corrected a little bit. As soon as Hyperliquid added perps for it, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take all my fucking spare cash there and just load 3x long there. And that's like such a gimme trade, right? Because like you have to think everybody's buying at spot right now. Everybody on Hyperliquid is fading this thing. The second it goes long on Hyperliquid, there just has to be that natural, like, or second it gets listed on Hyperliquid, there has to be a natural long bias, right? So that's the second time we're like, okay, I'm going to get free money just by being like early to conviction. I'm going to get free money again by just like understanding where liquidity is at in the market and like who can now buy an asset that they couldn't buy before because they were too lazy to like bridge over or like deal with the shitty UX. So that was like, I think like the free money portion of
Mm-hmm.
the trade. And now I would say we're out of like the free money portion of the trade and we're into like the conviction portion of the trade. And this is where like, okay, you made a bag. Hopefully you took some profits along the way. You need to decide like, am I riding this shit? Am I dumping this shit? And that's where, I'm bull posting. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I kind of love to see everybody responses to myself because I'm like, all right, not everybody who responds to my tweet is the brightest people on the internet is what I've realized. And like you can farm sentiment so easily off of that. So I'm seeing people, it's crime, the UI sucks, the UX sucks. And I'm like, that's actually low key like music to my ear, right? Like I don't want to buy the Perps DEX like once it's great.
Yeah.
You know, you want to buy it kind of while it's dog shit with the promise that it can become great. And then like as far as the whole CZ crime narrative goes, I think everybody just has such a misunderstanding of CZ, right? Like he's an OG. He has been liquidating all of the idiot traders in crypto for so long on the largest exchange. Like his Bitcoin bags are probably huge. His BNB bags are obviously huge.
Yeah.
He probably has a massive Solana bag, a massive Ethereum bag. You think of all the funds of funds that he's allocated into. You think of all the VC funds that he's allocated into, right? Like CZ doesn't make any money from like a pump and dump coin.
Mm-hmm.
He has such unfathomably broad exposure to all of crypto that he's going to make more money by like growing the wealth and the eco of crypto versus like any pump and dump. So then you think to yourself, okay, the kingmaker is on multiple podcasts talking about decentralized is the future, decentralized is the future. He's OG enough to believe it. He fucking went to jail for our sins, you know, like, and he's still back here in the trenches with all of us and bull posting decentralized projects. My takeaway there is like, he's aligned as fuck, right? This isn't like crime. This isn't a pump and dump. This is the shrewdest, most savage operator in all of crypto saying, hey, I'm on your side here. So now for me, I'm like, all right, you know, good trade and just ride like a pretty healthy spot bag here and see how far we go.
I think I just got mid-curve stuck in this crime thing. And I was just like, no, fuck buying crime. You know, crime isn't a thesis. I kept saying crime at 20 cents. Crime isn't a thesis. Crime isn't a thesis. Crime isn't a thesis. And I just put it into my brain, and then I was unable to break away from it. Do you think missing this trade was an IQ test? If you missed Aster, should you be upset with yourself and look in the mirror at what you could do differently?
No, I think it's more of like a bias test, right? Like I think there's been so many like crime trades this cycle that like it definitely I wouldn't fade anybody for fading Aster, like thinking it's crime. But like you did kind of have to check the bias though, right? Like the key insight that I'm running off of here is like it's not crime, it's incentives. Like there's a difference between CZ criming this coin and actually using this coin to create ecosystem wealth, which he has broad exposure to. So like if you came into this trade with like biases, like, oh, I'm a hype guy, I have bag bias there. I've got 50,000 points on lighter, I have bag bias there, right? Like if you came into it with bias, you know, definitely like look in the mirror a little bit and think about like, this is crypto. Like everything goes to fucking zero. Nothing lasts multiple cycles other than Bitcoin. Like you got to get rid of all your bias. But I don't think like it was easy to like think it's just crime. Like I don't think that's such a hard knock.
So when you say, I like the way you frame things. When you said that, you know, it comes out and then your job is basically form as much conviction as fast as possible. What is your process like to form conviction under the gun? Like, how are you mental? Do you have like a mental framework for how you approach that?
Yeah. The first thing I do is I fucking read the docs. Like as crazy as it is, like some of the sauce at Masari is like we read the docs. Like I think I looked through the project docs. I was looking at it real fast, and I was like, okay, one, like, do you know what USDF is? That's a question to you.
Oh, no, not really.
Right. So if you go on Aster's page and you just click more and you look at USDF, they have their own like Athena style delta neutral stablecoin. So then I was like, wait a second, like, is this Hyperliquid or is this Athena or is this some combination of the two? And if you watch that, the rate of supply has been insane. It's already over 100 million. Supply is like 4x in the last 3 days.
Oh.
Like by end of week, there might be 1 billion of this thing. So it might be like within 2 or 3 weeks, they might already have a project competing with Athena at the same time they're competing with Hyperliquid. You don't do something clever like that if it's just a scam. Then you look and they're like, okay, they've got the chain integrations with all these other chains, right? Like they didn't just bootstrap this onto BNB, like they were thoughtful. You look at like the private orders and you're like, that's like something you don't have on other projects. Like you look at the APIs and they're like the same as like the Binance APIs, which some people will say, oh, that's crime. Well, I'm a dev. I know I love it when APIs are the same because I can copy paste my old code. So anybody market making on Binance can easily go market make on Aster. So like just by reading the docs, like I was very quickly able to say like, you don't put this level of effort like into a pump and dump. There's like thoughtful decisions made here where they're like treating this like a very serious project. So like that's number one. Number two is like the group chats are just firing off, right? So like same thing as like I'm arguing against people on my timeline. And I'm like, if I hear something smart, like I'm ready to be dissuaded. But I'm gonna like argue as if I'm the biggest fanboy here to see like if I can get myself there. Same thing like in the Masari like private group chats in our alpha channels. I'm slamming against the analysts and like they're a very curated set of like smart people. So like I get to instantly bounce those ideas off of them. So just between like the docs, the vibes, and like slamming arguments on people, like I think you can build conviction pretty damn quickly.
It's so funny that read the docs is like a foreign suggestion. It's like, whoa, you what?
Yeah, there's alpha, bro. There's that ass. Just read the docs, like, and you'll actually understand so much better. Or like in the ohm forks, right? Like that's how you could tell a good ohm fork from a shitty ohm fork. Like I like cut my teeth pretty big on the ohm forks last cycle, and like you could literally see like projects where they had forgot to replace the links to the docs of the projects they were copy pasting, and they're like, okay, low effort fork, bail versus high effort fork, like ape, right? Like even when you're aping crime or shitty little forks, like there's so much insight, like just in like the docs.
So here's the thing that I'm still trying to work out is it almost feels like buying, this is going to be funny, ironic for me to say because I didn't buy it, but I think about it a little bit similar to like my pump trade. It's like buying and holding the rip feels like the easy part. Exiting the trade and figuring out when to get out is the hard part. Because I remember when
Yeah.
I was in pump, the lows, and it was the most uncrowded trade ever. And then the second prices of the product, the second things start getting green and it's printing candles, all of a sudden everybody loves pump, and then it's like, oh my god, the thought of selling into price discovery, it's like, are you fucking insane? Right? Because it's just like the narrative changes when things get euphoric. And I think it happened a little bit with Aster. At first it was like, brother, CZ tweeted a chart, and then all of a sudden it's like we're gonna flip HL. How do you think about scaling out of a trade and actually selling something that you nailed so direct?
Yeah, that's always the hardest part. Like I think I've learned to trade less and with higher conviction. So like I've started to make my entries much larger. And so then when I hit, I just enter in size as soon as I think it could be a good trade. I'm willing then like 10 minutes later, if I can't build that conviction, to sell at the 5-6% loss or a 12% gain, and maybe it runs without me. But then what you can do is like you can actually just take profits. Like once you enter that price discovery, once you're up, like if taking a little bit of profit and then you're kind of locking in your gains here, like that just helps my psychology so much, right? Where like I I can ride the rest, like I'm not going to be in the red, like
Yeah.
my net worth is like up, like I became a richer person today, right? So I can take my time and like breathe, right? Like I still don't think there's any magic formula to like when to sell. Like anybody who says they've figured it out is probably just like lying to you. But I definitely think learning to not sell all at once, right? Like I can sell in clips, I can buy back in clips. Like so many people are bid all, sell all, bid all, sell all. Like you're just going to drive yourself crazy like that.
So I have a bunch of stuff I want to ask you non-Aster related, but I guess I'll ask you one more and then we can maybe circle back to it later. Is what's your bull case here? Like there are, I mean, dude, there's a lot of people that are sidelined on this trade. I'm one of them. I've kind of written it off already, but I don't know. I'm so fucking staring at it all day. Like, what is your bull case for an entry here, and how crazy it can still run from where we're currently at?
Yeah. So I'm monitoring it like pretty closely. Like if I start to feel invalidated, I'm out. But here's the bull case. Like 1-4. Like don't fucking fade CZ, right? Like he's saying 4. The Binance main account is saying 4, right? That's a doubling from here. Even then, it's not like the most insane coin that you've ever seen, right? And there's a couple things like really going your way. One, like the supply is well controlled. And I think people get afraid of insiders. This is where like believing in the alignment, right? Like if I'm an insider on a coin with CZ, I'm not selling until he tells me I can sell. Because if I sell his project before he gives the green light, I've lost my CZ deal flow. I've lost my CZ relationship. So CZ being the anchor on that cohort of insiders actually provides like a strong gravity to them not being instant dumpers, right? So like the circulating supply, I kind of have a feeling is much lower than people actually think. So that alone can kind of start to take you like, we can go higher. We can go to the 4 territory. People are sidelined here. The second really nice thing about this is like there's bad copy trades and forks. I don't want to be a lighter hater, but I think a lot of people are going to get like nerd sniped by like Lighter or Zex or these other like Perps projects, right? Because they don't have the sauce, right? But for something like Aster, which real or not can put in revenue numbers ahead of hype already, the beautiful part of being the copy trade is everybody can sell hype. So even though like I think it's a bear market, right? Like as I have indicated on my account, I love this trade because I know where the money's going to come from. I don't need new money to enter crypto to like pump this thing up. I just need hype holders to capitulate. I need them to swallow their pride, eat their bag bias, right? It's almost like the ETH Solana pair trade when ETH was just absolutely eating it. That was a great trade because you knew exactly where the money to bid Solana could come from. It could come from everybody over allocated to Ethereum. Same thing here. The money that can go into Aster can come from everybody who's over allocated into hype. There's like a new competitor in the space. Like these projects have to reprice, or at least I think they'll reprice. So, you know, I like 4 for like the mimetic value.
Yeah.
I think the market dynamics exist to get there. That's probably another level where like I trim some more, right? And then I kind of evaluate how much more I want to hold it. But like it's a CZ coin. Like it can go pretty high.
Do you think that hype? I like the frame, the mental model. I think is correct. Do you think hyperliquid capitulation has started, or like where are we in that time frame?
It's really hard to gauge. I think, I mean, hype is putting in what, like its 5th daily red candle. Like I I haven't done like a super deep look at it, but really what you want to look for is like volume, right? Like how much volume has traded red here, right? Like if I'm seeing kind of like low volume on the red trade, then I think to myself, okay, price is down, but a lot of people have not sold yet. And now they're like starting to feel bad about themselves because they're underperforming. The wave of capitulation is coming, right? When you start to see like those higher volume sells, that's when like real capitulation is happening. So I haven't stared at that like too much myself, but I'd really just be like watching the volume on the hype chart.
This is like a weeds question, but where are you looking at volume and comparing the actual data side of it?
For hype, honestly, just probably on Hyperliquid. I think that's where like a majority of volume for that coin happens.
Well, dude, congrats on the trade. You were vocal about
Yeah,
it. You've crushed it.
thank you.
Um, why are we in a bear market? Your bear arc on Twitter. You're like, what? Yeah, what? What's the thesis there? Talk to me about that.
Yeah. First, I'll like define bear market because I think everybody has different definitions. Like for me, I mean like total crypto market
Uh-huh.
cap, like the most generic definition
Yeah.
of bear market you possibly can. I think that like honestly, that is pretty much like Bitcoin, Ethereum, like the top N coins are the only coins that really drive that metric. but it matters so much. Like if you're going to trade things like Aster, if you're going to trade things like Pump, like understanding if you're like in an expanding or contracting market matters so much. This is how people like, this is why people round trip, right? Because the market dies, but like trades are still happening. So they don't think it's a bear market because they're making money in the trenches, but they're trading like a bull market. So they're waiting for the 4x, 5x, 6x. Oh, this is just a high vol correction. It's going to bounce back and take me, right? When really like you need to be looking for like small multiples, percent returns, scalps, defensive plays, right? So I think like having a macro view on the market like informs how to actually trade all this other action that we see. As far as like why I think it's a bear market, my thesis, like honestly, my most God mode trade like of all time was pretty much calling Bitcoin dominance in 2023. Like at the very, very bottom of that, I made the call which just said like Bitcoin is evolving as an asset in a way that none of these others are. Like you have like senators running laser eyes. You have like a new administration coming in and looking at all this. Like BlackRock is so incentivized to like have a high AUM ETF because they can charge the extra fees on crypto assets versus equities. So like there's so much institutional alignment behind Bitcoin that simply is not behind these other assets. That also creates a recursive loop, right? Like as Bitcoin goes up, as liquidity goes up, as ETFs like start to like take supply of Bitcoin to the traditional markets, Bitcoin also becomes the only asset and the first asset with those advantages. So that compounds, right? So interestingly enough, like 2021 market, the bull market was defined by a decline in Bitcoin dominance. My like big brain thesis was essentially the next market would be defined by an increase in Bitcoin dominance, right? So I've been watching that metric like very, very closely this entire time. And I think really like the DATs are kind of what made me start to ring the alarm bell, right? Like Bitcoin kind of started to stall out, right? We saw the DAT for Ethereum. Feels to me like not the greatest thing ever. I'm like a very proud DAT hater, basically. And it felt like the institutional bid for Bitcoin was starting to draw down. So same thing, I start tweeting about it. Everybody starts replying and they're like, oh, the institutional bid, it's coming to Ethereum, it's coming to Solana. I'm like, okay, that's the misunderstanding. In a bull market, the marginal bid increases. So it would be the institutions are bidding Bitcoin and they add a bid for Ethereum and Solana. But where you see they're not bidding Bitcoin, they're just shifting that bid out the risk curve. That is return seeking behavior that defines a bear market, right? Is not new flows into crypto, it's flows into the longer tail to chase returns because everybody was late to the real meat of the bull market. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, these institutions, like, they're not increasing allocations, they're shifting allocations. So like Bitcoin starts to stall out. And sure, Solana like looks great when we talk about like a theoretical multi-billions of buy pressure, but where's the token at now? Like that doesn't seem like a very strong or material bid to me. You're seeing DATs buy other DATs, you're seeing DATs for pre-TGE tokens, right? Like Trump was the Pico top of meme coins. Like I don't think meme coins are ever coming back in that fashion. I think they're like in a structural decline, right? So just all of those factors, I was like, okay, if the institutions aren't here anymore, and this has been the institutional cycle, like you need to rethink where we're at in the cycle.
It's a really good framework. I like the way you think about it. It definitely feels like at the macro scale, the same thing that happened locally in the trenches post Trump, where there's one ball of money and there are still things ripping, but it's really just lower cap to 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 lower. It's not, and it's only like one thing can run at a time. It isn't like the small coins are ripping and then like some of the bigger coins in the trenches are also doing well. It's like there's a singular ball of money and it's trading memes or it's trading Pokemon cards or it's trading whatever it's trading, but it's the same ball of money. What would be invalidation to your we're in a bear market thesis? Is it Bitcoin dominance making new ATH or ripping? Is it Bitcoin price making a new ATH? Like, what would invalidate your bear leaning stance?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I kind of haven't really decided yet. I'm almost kind of praying that I'll know it when I see it. I'm willing to believe we're kind of out of like the Bitcoin dominance part of the cycle, which is not to say like all of a sudden bull again, but like, that trend line isn't going to last infinity, right? Like I'll need to find what the next definition for the next market is. There's the obvious stuff. Like I don't think they're going to take rates very low, but if they crater those to zero, I don't think people are going to get stimmy checks, but if they do, right? Like I'm willing to rewrite like my theses if those things happen. But really, it'd just be like strength, right? Like you don't. Sometimes you can let the market tell you, right? Like if crypto market cap just starts to set all new all-time highs, bull market back on, and I'm going to trade like a bull market again, right? Like sometimes you don't need to decide why the market's going to go up or down. You just need to watch it and like acknowledge if it's going up or down and then trade it. So, I don't really think I have a strong edge on what like revives the market with, unless you want to get into just crazy macro philosophy type stuff. But like I think I'm happy to just watch the market and have it tell me. But for now, I feel pretty good about the bear call.
What percent of your port is risk on right now?
Well, yeah. So I love crypto, like with all my heart and soul. So like 100% of my net worth is in Bitcoin 100% of the time. Like my bank account, I have enough money for like rent, like next month's rent and groceries. Like that's it. Like dollars are just fucking disgusting to me. So my risk off portfolio is 100% spot Bitcoin. And then my trading philosophy, and I probably don't recommend this to everybody because you can do yourself a little damage, but like I just borrow against the Bitcoin on stables, right? And then I just trade with that, right? So if you sell Bitcoin to like buy an asset, you're trading asset Bitcoin pair. Bitcoin's the greatest asset in all of crypto. I'm not going to sign myself up for that shit, right? But if I have Bitcoin deposited, like even in something simple as Aave, and I'm borrowing like a stable bag, now when I buy other assets, whether it's perps, like NFTs, runes, I was trading meme coins on XRP at one point this cycle, fucking whatever, now you're trading token dollar, which is like structurally like in your favor, right? And then sell that position, like hopefully take the profits and just buy straight back into Bitcoin with that. And you essentially like, so I'm probably one of few traders who can say like I have across multiple cycles been like profitable against Bitcoin, right? And that's just because I'm always just slowly accumulating and stacking that up. So my underlying market belief is Bitcoin wins. Bitcoin becomes money. So my only goal is like hold that money and take pot shots in big trades when I believe I can acquire more of that money. So I'm always 100% in Bitcoin. And then sometimes I'm like 120, 130% of my net worth is in crypto just because I'm running leverage. So it's a little bit of a degenerate strategy, but it works for me.
Dude, that was insane. That's not what I thought you were going to say. You just started with, I think we're in a bear market, and then you said 130% of my net worth is gone. That was, that's aura. I'm not going to lie. What's your thought process on and strategy behind borrowing against the Bitcoin? Like I've never really done that before.
Yeah, I just have like either like CBBTC or like wrapped Bitcoin, or if some other Bitcoin instrument is like burning VC money to give me yield, I'll play around with that a little bit. But like I just have like wrapped Bitcoin. I go to a lending market, I throw down a stack, and then in a bull market, I'll do like a tighter borrow. So I might borrow up to like 50% against that stack, or 30 or 40% against that stack. In a bear market, it's like 5 to 10% borrows against that stack. And the thesis is like, unless I'm like about to get liquidated on perps, you can always close that, and then like I have a job with income, right? Like I can pay interest on things, I can look for the next loan, right? Like I can take a losing trade and actually just carry that until the winning trade that then makes me hold on that, and then I'm still up in Bitcoin terms, right? So the trick is just don't get over your skis, right? Like in some sense, because you're only trading with like percentages of your net worth, like you are more limited, right? Like I'm not literally full porting everything, but I'm like running tight borrows against a full port, right? So um, I learned last cycle to be a little conservative. There was a couple moments where, at one moment I was like in a subway praying to God that like Bitcoin didn't go down another 1K or I would have gotten licked on like my whole net worth. So I remember being in that subway in Arkansas praying to Jesus Christ. So like, be careful with it for sure. But, just run a safe amount of leverage is what I'd say.
Dude, you're a fucking lunatic. Did it go down 1K?
No, dude, you listen, we're good. Amen, brother. Like, we're good.
Dude, you're nuts. It's you with sorry people. There's something in the water over there in that office. You guys are fucking cracked.
Dude, we love degens. We fucking love degens.
What moment was there a moment, a light bulb moment where you just decided that Bitcoin is the greatest thing ever and you're like religious to the gold coin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like it's like a long intellectual journey. I remember I like COVID hit, too much time online, and I like discovered someone mentioned Bitcoin through some YouTube video, and then I watched like Andre Antonopoulos's like Stanford like Bitcoin explained like hour and a half long video, and I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and I just put my entire net worth into it in that moment, and like haven't looked back. Um, but I think like the reason I write a lot of like the big macro pieces that I write about like neo-feudalism or like a 10-year view out on Bitcoin or like the macro markets and where I think they're headed, like the fracturing of the global order or whatever, like all of those are essentially like my personal love letters back to like Bitcoin, back to like what we're building here, like in crypto. And I just like believe like I'm not going to ride any other coin to zero, but like I'll fucking ride Bitcoin to zero if that's what it takes. I'm here to like change the world.
You rock, man. I knew I liked your tweets, but geez. I have this thought that I feel crypto has crossed this inflection point. I don't exactly know when it happened. I don't think it happened in 2021, but I think it's happened probably this cycle where the RR to building a good product in crypto is literally millions of dollars a day, right? Axiom,
Oh yeah.
Photon, Hyperliquid, Pump Fun, what Lighter is gonna do. Like we have Aster, what they're doing right now. Like we have enough examples right now that I think it's got to be the most attractive outside of AI and even what's possible in crypto money. It's got to be the most attractive space in the world to come build. And I feel even if we are topped and we're in a bear and markets get bloody, it feels like we're gonna forever have just gem spots where you will get an Aster, you will get a cards, you'll get a pump fund like play, and where I don't think it will ever really make sense to like fuck off for the bear market. Feels like a completely losing strategy. And so I think like macro aside, I'm as optimistic as I've ever been on the talent pool that's gonna flow into crypto and build cool shit because the money incentive is unlike any other vertical in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. I think crypto is like crypto is a market for like intellectual sharks, right? I think the beautiful thing here is like you can make yourself so rich. That is such like a clear and power motivator and like magnet for talent that yeah, I think we only continue to bring in like shark after shark after shark, and they just create like outsized products, outsized instruments, outsized returns for themselves, for investors, hopefully sometimes like for the community more broadly. So yeah, I agree with you. Like even though we may or may not be in a bear market, but like there will always be a bull market somewhere in crypto, and I think we're like in a long-term intellectual bull market for sure.
Yeah, it's like if you're a Hyperliquid Jeff, why would you go raise for some AI startup when you could just
Right.
make $3 million a day, maybe forever? And like, I look for how long?
It's a
I don't
good
know,
deal.
forever in crypto. It's pretty wild. What do you do all day? Like, what are you paying attention to? What are you focusing on from a like data flows, new projects, identifying shit early? Like, what are you doing all day?
Yeah, it's nice for me that like I have like a real job and I'm not just like a full-time like crypto. I mean, I'm trading 24/7, but I'm not like a solo trader or anything. So like I'm in like meetings, like I'm talking about like Masari like as a business, like how we can help our customers more. Like I help like analysts like with their data and their reports. Like that's such a valuable like information flow to me because I get to basically see like what the smartest people in the room are like interested in at any moment in time. And then like when they reach out to me about that interest, I'm like the first one to get in the docs, like get in the data, like see how these things look. Like when you're like querying smart contracts and like building metrics for projects yourself, like I also get to see how it works. Like, oh, this contract calls that contract. I've seen this before. They're just copying so and so, or oh, they're doing this in a new way. How clever. Or oh, their docs or shit. I hate these guys.
Yeah.
So like, I'm doing like the job. Like a lot of time, like scrolling Twitter, probably like more than I should be, but I'm doing that type of stuff. Like sometimes there's fun alpha. Like last cycle, we were downloading a bunch of blockchain data directly that we now work for vendors. But like I could tell you when BNB was popping off because that chain would be processing so many transactions, our servers would start to crash. And I was like, that's a type of alpha you're not going to find like on Twitter is somebody
Whoa.
saying like, oh, our infrastructure is getting stressed because this chain is so popular now. Right. So like there's like real alpha I think that comes from being on like the engineering side and like working for a business like Masari.
So that's a lot of stuff you just like a lot of the data kind of stuff you just miss if you're just trading narrative. What verticals of crypto are you the most excited about right now?
um I I'm not super on like on a long time horizon. I'm not super excited on like really any of the verticals. I don't I'm not convinced any of this stuff has a moat, right? So I there's no verticals that I'm really like very bought into. That's probably where I'm like a contrarian against most people. Like I like Bitcoin long term. There will be other long term projects that win, but honestly, I don't think we've seen any of them yet. Like I don't think you could name me a crypto project right now that I think is like here and like dominant like 10 years from now. Like I don't think we've invented it yet.
So, whoa. What do you think that product will be? Is there something like do you have like a wish list of like what you want to see that you think crypto works well for that will be built? Is it a better iteration of perp dexes and launch pads and things of that nature? Like how do you think about it?
I think it'll I have a feeling it will either be something like on the social side or maybe like on the deepen side.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking is like as far as social goes, if I'm right and like none of these projects can really accrue like long-term value, then actually like funny money becomes the currency,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the like betting on your favorite creators, betting on their content and everything. Like I think like the thesis of Friendtech was like awesome. I think
Love
the
friend tech.
thesis of Zora was awesome. The thesis of Pump Fund is really good right now. Like the market is telling you, like none of them have like figured out the sustainable business model there. But like I think something on the social side will like hit. And like crypto being an open, like permissionless graph and now allows people to create like novel social experiences that can actually compete with like web2 networks in a way that other crypto products might not be able to. And then on the deep inside, I because I'm so reluctant to think anything in crypto has a moat, my bias is like, okay, maybe some of these projects that can like bootstrap physical resources and networks. Same way Bitcoin has bootstrapped an energy network. It's technically a DePIN if you really want to call it that, right? Like, and it has the strongest moat. So like perhaps I'm like, I don't own any because I go back and forth on it all day, but like maybe like a Helium or maybe something over there, like because they have real infra maybe that's like a defensible moat that can like command long-term revenues.
You're like a real ball knower. You have deep ball knowledge.
Dude, I get paid to do that. That's the beauty.
Do you think there's a lot of, like, do you think a lot of people that, like, how many people that are in crypto full time, trading full time, on CT full time, do you think have an in-depth understanding of the space that they participate in?
I think like very, very few. I think it's like a very small circle of people. I think the first reason you notice it is like the lack of like long-term perspective. So like, not to kind of take everything back to Bitcoin, but like I don't think people realize like if Bitcoin is like decentralized collateral and like a decentralized reserve asset that is like permissionless and like self-custody and infinite size because it's just on a USB stick, that disintermediates like the state from money, right? Like imagine like when we disintermediated the state from religion, we like completely like rewrote the social contract, right? So like if you're like long term very bullish on Bitcoin, but you're not willing to like take that intellectual conclusion, like wait a second, if this wins, we're going to rewrite the social contract. What does that look like? I probably shouldn't own any Bitcoin in an ETF. They're going to steal that from me, right? Like you start to like be able to make these like more clever like intuitions that are like so absent on crypto Twitter. And like I like to think maybe that's why some of my like longer form articles like do well is like I like to take the ideas like to the extreme and like think in the long term, and like that idea space is like so unexplored that I kind of walk away with the personal conclusion like most people in crypto actually don't even really think about it that hard.
Okay, can we double click on that? Because you are like a full believer. Do you really believe that you should 100 be self-custodying 100% of your coins, and like holding on ETF is basically just execution risk and you're going to fucking lose that Bitcoin? Like if we win, you're never going to get those coins ever.
Yeah, well, it like just simple question like if Bitcoin starts to become a legitimate threat to like the US dollar, what are the odds that the government is going to allow any redemptions out of ETFs? If Bitcoin starts to become a legitimate threat to the dollar, what are the odds like Sailor's going to get to walk away with that bag? It's functionally zero, right? Like every government is like free and open and great until things start to go wrong. And then the knives come out, and then the corruption comes out, and then the bail-in comes out, right? And the thing to remember is like the American market is like the most free and open market in the world. That means there's actually only one direction to go for it to become less free and less open as the debt continues to climb, right? As political instability like continues to climb, right? The only direction is the opposite direction because you've already reached maximal freedom within the current technology, right? So yeah, I think like the clamps come down, or like Coinbase, like what are the odds that that's allowed to exist in a world where Bitcoin replaces the dollar?
Fuck.
Now, if I'm wrong and like Bitcoin coexists with the dollar, then certainly there's like something to be said there. And like Coinbase onboards millions of people to Bitcoin and crypto. They are an amazing company that are doing like God's work. Like everybody there is making the world a better place, right? I just think in the super long term, I'd be concerned.
That was like a Masari hashtag ad there at the end. I respect it. But
Dude, got to.
It makes me think of The Big Short. It's in The Big Short where he's basically getting all these puts on the banks failing, but he like Michael Berry and all the other guys like need insurance that they will get paid out because they literally think they will not have any money, and the banks are like appalled. Like, what are you talking? You want us to give you insurance? Like, what are you talking about? And then it happens.
If you're long Bitcoin, if you're long Bitcoin, your counterparty is centralized governments, right?
Dude, so so if the Sailor thesis plays out, he's just gonna get fucked in the end. Like if it really plays out, he's gonna get cooked. Does he know this? Does he think about this?
I don't know. It's hard to. I mean, yeah, I imagine at this point he has a lot of Bitcoin. I imagine at this point he's had to start thinking about it for sure. He can't say anything, right? Like he can't say, "Hey, the government's going to seize all these assets one day," because then the value of the treasury trades at a premium of zero, right?
Yeah.
Because the shareholders will never have a claim to the underlying assets because the government will step in. So he can't ever admit it or say it or even make an inkling of it because that would just nuke the price to zero. But I don't know. He might think about it. He might not. Like it's hard to be in somebody else's head.
Where even is his Bitcoin? Like, it's not on fucking on a ledger. Like, where even is?
I think they use Coinbase for custody.
Hashtag ad. No, I'm just kidding. Um, huh. That's yeah. I guess I haven't. Yeah, I haven't really like thought. I'll be honest with you, dude. I haven't like, and I'm pretty Bitcoin pilled. I think I don't know. 60% of my net worth is in Bitcoin. It's like it's a solid when you consider that last year it was zero, and it was zero every year for my entire life up until April lows, basically. But I haven't really gone like that extreme to it, which I guess is like a
yeah. I mean, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think it's like a long-term thought process skill issue, maybe. Not that I should have gotten there and I didn't, but more so like I haven't really thought extreme edge cases on all of my like worldview frameworks, if you will.
Yeah, but it is like a matter of conviction, right? So like I'm 100% convicted in this worldview. So 100% of my portfolio reflects that, right? But like there's probably like some very smart people watching this who think I'm wrong and probably have like good arguments to why and like clever reasons why. So if they're only 20% convinced, then I would just say, okay, make 20% of your portfolio or your lifestyle like this, right? Like my allocation is like a reflection of my
Yeah.
conviction, right? Like you don't have to buy into every idea. That's what makes a market.
Do you trade bullshit? Like, are you on Axiom trading garbage in the trenches? Or
Oh yeah.
yeah?
Oh yeah.
Really? Why?
I love it. It's fun. like it's a way to get, if you're good at it, it's a way to like get more Bitcoin, right? Like when XRP was like on the run, like the first thing I did was like, how the hell do I bridge over here? Oh my God, there's a DEX built in. Did you know there's meme coins on XRP? Let me go ape these things. So like, yeah, I've traded like XRP meme coins. Last cycle, I was like bridging and trading like curve forks on Moonbeam, like I love being in the trenches. Like I love clicking the button. It's just too much fun.
You are not trading that garbage in XRP.
Yeah. Like Army Coin.
Dude, I remember Army Coin.
Like,
it was like 3 days. Did you leave in the green or no?
Yeah. Well, the other beautiful thing, right, was like you can kind of, if you've been in crypto long enough, you can estimate the age of your counterparty, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, these people are trading memes for the first time. So if I just run the early meme playbook, it'll work great, right? Versus like you get to the Solana trenches and you're like, okay, I have to be like an Omega brain. Like these people here are like, they've been through like World War I, II, III, Vietnam, like these guys are crazy, So, it helps to like know your counterparty for sure.
Chat, this is off topic. You don't have to answer if you don't want, but chat wants to know if you're married.
No, nope.
On the market. Dude.
No, not on the market. I have a girlfriend.
Okay,
my
bad.
Yeah.
Dude, you're an impressive guy though. One thing I think doesn't get enough respect is that people love to hate on the meme coins, on the meme coin stuff. And to be fair, it's a shit show over there. And I think I maybe follow some of your framework. Like I'm pretty bearish on the casino, meme coins, specifically post-Trump. Because it's just like, how do we ever... I always use the same example. I always say, who the hell is buying troll at 180 mil? And then, Coinbase lists troll and the troll people get mad at me. But I just, that money is just, I feel like the tops have been revealed and that money is that was once interested is not interested. But I do very much think it's the case that the skill gap in the Solana trenches are some of the most talented, smart kids like in the world are trading meme coins on Solana. It's like it didn't feel this way for NFTs. NFTs still felt very just like retarded, caught the flows of like an ungodly institutional bid when there just like wasn't that much to buy, and you kind of just like held onto the right, picture. Solana meme coin trenches are legitimately, the talent gap is unlike, and it's like a professional gaming scene. It's unlike anything I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, like they're crazy there. I actually, before I worked at Masari, I worked for Digital Eyes, which was like the first NFT marketplace on Solana,
Okay.
and I was like doing like back end stuff for them. So like some of my biggest fumbles are like those early Solana NFTs. Like I bought at 6 Sol, I sold at 8 Sol. Oh my god, it goes to 280 Sol at the same time. Sol goes from 9 to 250, right? Like some of the like fumbles there and stuff like that. But like yeah, OG like Solana NFT days, like Solana summer, like that shit was so much fun.
This was so much fun too. I told you like 30 minutes, I think, but it's been an hour. I'll let you go in a second. Okay, I want to ask you this. A lot of people that watch, and you kind of have like alluded, you've kind of touched on some of your frameworks, but I want to like ask it direct. Is a lot of people that watch the stream, I think, are very Solana adjacent, on-chain traders, and I think it's just difficult to stretch your framework out to even like think about multi-cycle, 5-year time horizon, 10-year time horizon. Like it took me a while to get there until I basically, this was my career, and so it's like, yeah, I'll definitely benefit from looking 10 years out rather than tomorrow. And I think a lot of people like it's been a pretty lucrative, I mean, it's been an incredible year in crypto, but a lot of people have been pretty miserable because you're on the 5-minute time frame of garbage, and you don't
Yeah.
have that fallback thesis to cling on to feel better about it. And so, long setup way of asking, like, can you paint the picture of how you see what we're playing for in crypto and how big the space at large can get from where we currently stand?
Yeah, I think like we like there's two kind of concepts that I anchor to. Like one, like is Bitcoin winning? Is like hyper-bitcoinization, right? Like the market forces, the dynamics, the geopolitical stuff, right? Like you can go read a million people and like Bitcoin OGs in like 2011 were writing about this stuff, right? So like I definitely recommend everybody go like read like Speculative Attack or like read some of Satoshi's early work or Hal Finney's early stuff, right? Like respect your elders, right?
Yeah.
And like read that. That's kind of the principle that Bitcoin takes over. On the technology side, I recommend everybody read a piece called Hyperstructures by Jacob, the same Jacob who actually created Zora. I think this was one of the most like foundational pieces to me in all of crypto. But like, and bear with me here,
Yeah.
crypto is like open and permissionless, like smart contracts, right? It's a Turing complete state machine, right? Which means all of these projects can plug into each other, right? Like everybody go read about how flash loans work and realize like that's a crypto innovation that doesn't exist in TradFi because the technology enables atomic transactions with zero counterparty risk. So like you can build in these mechanisms in these projects. Like I can build Aave and I can use Uniswap or Hyperliquid or whatever as an integrated liquidation engine. And then I can build Alchemix on top of it. And then like that loan can pay itself back. If you ever look at those pictures of like, oh, TradFi is so complicated and it's got clearinghouse, brokerage, prime brokerage, and it's got all those arrows, crypto is going to be 100 million times more complicated because everything can plug into each other without permission. What that is a hyperstructure. You take all of these single entity projects with these economic functions, and more than economic functions, it's a state machine. So they're actually information functions. So actually, you tag every information function together and you integrate it all, you basically create an economic engine where you have all of the information of the world on the same state machine as all of the value and assets of the world, enabling essentially the entire economy to self trade and like arbitrage any information mispricings against itself. So what you're creating is the single most efficient like capital information market ever created. That is worth value like in the quadrillions. That's like not worth the economy. That is the fucking economy, right? And like, think about how much value comes from digitization, right? When I'm selling record players, the music industry has a certain GDP. But when I digitize music, you get fucking Spotify, and it's just multiples more valuable because your unit cost has come down. So we're about to like digitize the information and value economy of the world on like shared state machines. Like, it will replace the economy with multiple extra zeros, right? So like, the number becomes so large, it's just not even worth talking about. Like quadrillions, pentillions, whatever, however far you want to go out, right? I think that's what we're building with crypto.
It gave me chills, man. I'm not gonna lie. Off the dome was insane. I just like that was off the dome. That was like psychopathic. That was nuts.
I love crypto. This is all I think about. Like, I wake up, I think about it. I'm working, I'm thinking about it. I go to sleep, I'm thinking about it. Just relentless, like 24/7.
I've never had someone come on here and give a pentillion price target, and I've had a lot of bullish guests, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Calling the top, but we're going to pentillions.
Well, yeah, long term versus short term time horizons. That's the other thing I hate about crypto Twitter sometimes is like, I'm like, do I have to tell you the time horizon of every tweet I make? Like, sometimes I'm like, you guys, let's think long term, but short term's fun too.
Can you give me like a reading list before you leave?
Yeah, I think Andre Antonopoulos, like, he has some OG Bitcoin video from like 2013 or 14 or 12 or something like that. It's him in front of a whiteboard, and it's like just over an hour. Like, he explains Bitcoin and like the incentive mechanisms, like why does mining work? Why does longest hash work? I think reading that, like, you understand the beauty of the machine and you understand like the core of everything. So read that, and then read Speculative Attack, which was written in, I believe, 2014 by some OG Bitcoiner that I've forgotten his name. And then read Hyperstructures. And I think like once you've done those three, you kind of have the foundation, right? You have like what Bitcoin is, why it can replace fiat. And then on the hyperstructure side, you have like what this technology platform, like Ethereum, the smart contract platforms, like what they can become in a superstructure. Once you have those three, like, that's at least the lens that I use to like process everything else from.
Man, I'm not really trying to glaze you, but this was fucking incredible. I've never seen your face or heard your voice. Do you do a lot of public stuff?
I'll do like stuff for like Masari if we're at events, like I'll do speaking or whatever like that. Mostly I'm just on Twitter, but whatever comes my way.
How long have you worked at Masari for?
I've been here like four years.
Whoa.
So I'm kind of an old head by now.
What did you do before Masari?
So before Masari, I was working for a defense company, and I was programming like radar jammers for like fighter jet warfare. So like, if like an American fighter jet is going against like a Chinese fighter jet, like, how do they jam and spoof each other's signals so that like if you fire a missile, it goes to a fake plane instead of a real plane. Before that, I was like working for AMD, like doing like verification and simulation for GPUs. And then before that, I was like designing like electronics and firmware for like the CERN particle collider. So I've had a little bit of an interesting
and what about before that
job. Oh, I was in college. So like, I was in college for when I was working for CERN and for when I was working for AMD. And then when I was working for the defense company, I did that for like 5 months, and then I was like, fuck this, I want to do crypto. So like, I'm actually like pretty fresh out of college, but like all throughout college, I worked like full-time engineering jobs.
You don't have to say it if you don't want, but where'd you go to college?
In Boston.
And what did you study? Like, what did you do in college?
Electrical engineering.
Word. And why did you like want to be an engineer? Did you do it in high school?
So I love music, actually. It's like a hobby of mine, but I have no musical talent. Like, I can't sing or play an instrument. So I was like, okay, if I can't like play an instrument, maybe I can design like the electronics that like the amplifiers, the speakers, the DACs, the amps. So like, the first stuff I was doing in high school was like ordering like headphone amplifier kits and like soldering them together and stuff like that.
Holy
And I was like,
fuck.
electricity's so much fun. So I went to school to be like an electrical engineer. Like if crypto goes to zero, if I'm wrong about all of this, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
try to work for like Bose or something. Like fuck it.
When you said you did music or you're interested in music or passionate about music, I laughed because I thought you were gonna say you play like 9 instruments and have like a #1 record in the UK or some shit.
No,
Um,
nah. I wish.
are you like a gamer? Do you game?
I gamed a lot like in high school, but like crypto is the best game there is. Like it's so intellectually stimulating that I joke that like GameFi will never catch on because like DeFi is too much more fun, right? That's why GameFi is cursed. Is DeFi is actually the best
Holy
game.
fuck, that's a wild take. I'm reading this book right now. It's called Play Money by Julian something, and it's basically about this guy who used to be a writer for Wire, and he got this story to cover like early MMO RPG economies like 2003, and he basically quit his job to trade gold on one of these servers full time, and it's 2003 I think, from some game I don't even know what it is, and UO I forget what it stands for, and it's crazy the parallels to what we do in crypto right now. It's wild.
Oh yeah, it's like it's the same shit.
DeFi is actually GameFi. Chat loves that. No, it's not RuneScape. It's
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is. I don't know. I'll let you go. UO MMORPG game. Ultima Online. I'd never heard of it.
Oh, that's like a classic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
I'd never
either,
heard of it.
But it seems kind of old school.
Yeah, dude, this was lit. I thanks for coming on, man. Do you want to show anything?
Thanks for having me on.
Do you want to show anything? Like writings or
Dude, I got
coins, anything?
follow me on Twitter, read my shit. But like other than that, I'm not really here to shill any coins or anything, just my ideas. So good luck to everybody in the trenches. That's all I got.
Dude, delete the bear arc shit out of your fucking handle, man.
When I do, it's because I'm either wrong or I'm right. I'll make an announcement when I take it off.
Okay, thank you, bro. This was awesome. When it does come off, you got to come back on for part 2 because this was a fucking movie.